Shintong and the others, meanwhile, would handle clearing the minor foes and seize the opportunity to storm Mount Fudo to seize the target object. Only Mu Yan, Yang Xinxin, and Flower remained by Zhang Yi's side. After Liang Yu and the others departed, Zhang Yi stood several kilometers away from Mount Fudo, raising his right hand toward the active volcano. Such a blatant appearance had already drawn the attention of the Royal Demon Court's mutants. Dozens of them flashed toward him. "Who are you? Daring to come here, are you seeking death?" Zhang Yi didn't even glance at them. Flower's body abruptly grew massive, transforming into a colossal mutant beast dozens of meters long. Every black hair on its body bristled, turning into razor-sharp spikes that instantly transformed into a torrential downpour, shooting toward the Royal Demon Court's mutant. The mutants had no time to dodge. Even those who swiftly activated their abilities to defend themselves found their efforts utterly futile against such overwhelming power. Thud! The moment they touched the ground, they were pierced by the jagged spikes. Their deaths were gruesome. Within the Heavenly Guardian Palace, Evil Demon suddenly opened his eyes, gazing intently into the distance. "He's here!" Heh. Zhang Yi's right hand clenched lightly in midair. The next instant, the sky above the entire Mount Fudo darkened. A pitch-black vortex slowly materialized, then expanded at terrifying speed until it formed a cavernous darkness nearly enveloping Mount Fudo. Descend! Dark star cluster. Void energy surged forth from the black hole, coalescing into countless dimly glittering celestial bodies that plummeted directly downward. Within the Heavenly Guardian Palace, the three senior officers witnessed this scene, their expressions turning grave. Such terrifying power. Just how strong is that guy? Naromi Shuji murmured. What's all the fuss about? A faint smile played on the face of the evil demon. Whether he gets to see me depends on whether he can pass the test ahead. He raised a slender finger, pointing toward the mountain below, toward the Imperial Gate Hall of the Heavenly Guardian Palace. The dark star cluster plummeted toward Mount Fudo. Soon, the mutants atop the mountain strained to resist this invading force. Various barriers began to manifest. Defensive-type mutants even joined forces, using their supernatural abilities to erect a massive protective shield. Yet as the dark star cluster descended, all was obliterated. Countless Royal Demon Court mutants dissolved instantly, without even a chance to scream. Only when the void's power was about to engulf the Heavenly Guardian Palace did a figure clad in a black hooded cloak emerge atop its roof. His hands hovered empty, yet twisted, dark light flickered through them, materializing into a pitch-black bronze mirror. The mirror's light radiated outward from him, shielding the area surrounding the Heavenly Guardian Palace. Unbeknownst to Zhang Yi, an invisible barrier rose from the eastern part of Edo Castle, specifically the former site of Sensoji Temple, slowly obscuring the sky above Edo. Zhang Yi glanced at the enormous beast behind him and smiled faintly. Flower, force them to show themselves. Roar! Flower lifted its head toward the distant Mount Fudo, opening its gaping maw as terrifying crimson energy coalesced within. Boom! A colossal beam of supernatural energy erupted in an instant, hurtling straight toward the Heavenly Guardian Palace atop Mount Fudo. Flower's attacks are terrifying. Its current combined ability index soars to 13,000 points, enough to level a mountain peak with a single strike. Yet before this force could reach the Heavenly Guardian Palace, a twisted barrier suddenly materialized ahead, completely deflecting Flower's power. A hazy mist began spreading from Mount Fudo, obscuring everything around them. Within the fog, a colossal palace silently materialized, blocking Zhang Yi and Flower's path. Compared to the Heavenly Guardian Palace atop Mount Fudo, this palace was even more ancient and colossal, yet it was saturated with a chilling, ghostly aura. Zhang Yi had already activated his Everything Under Heaven barrier, with the predictive ability of Everything Follows the Trail, constantly engaged to prevent any unexpected incidents. Yet soon, the gray smoke surged past them, spreading across the entire city of Edo. Zhang Yi suddenly sensed something, lifting his head to look up. The sky over Edo rapidly darkened, engulfed by the smoke and plunged into night. Could it be? Zhang Yi turned back, gazing at Edo Castle. The city now lay in deathly silence, its vast demonic silhouettes emerging from the fog. So the 100 Demon Night Parade is indeed man-made. Can even the conditions of this dark night be fabricated? Zhang Yi smiled wryly. Their deliberate choice to attack at daylight now seemed pointless. But none of that mattered now. Having chosen battle, they were prepared for any twist of fate. Behind them, the demons' cries grew louder as the spirits and monsters began surging toward Mount Fudo. Zhang Yi addressed Flower, "Flower, you hold them off." He had witnessed the strength of these demons and spirits firsthand. The most troublesome aspect was their inability to be killed, though their power wasn't exceptionally formidable. With Flower's abilities, holding them off for a while would pose no problem. Roar! Without a second thought, Flower turned around and unleashed a high-energy particle beam at the demons charging through the ghostly mist. The beam sliced through like a sword, cleaving hordes of demons in two. The earth itself was cleaved apart, forming an impassable barrier. Zhang Yi gazed at the ancient palace suddenly appearing before him and raised his hand to unleash his power. Divine Realm Netherworld Cleansing. A terrifying pressure instantly crushed down upon the ancient palace. Yet, contrary to expectations, no path was blasted open. The palace seemed shielded by an invisible force, its core impervious to harm. Those who disrespect the divine shall not pass. A ghostly voice echoed from ahead. Zhang Yi looked up to see a figure cloaked entirely in black robes standing atop the palace. Divine beings? Ha! Zhang Yi sneered with disdain. In this neon hellhole, even a toilet-guarding imp dares call itself a god. Your deities are far too cheap. His right hand formed a sword in the tree. Facing an entity whose abilities remained unclear, he intended to resort to brute force and destroy it outright. The great sword plunged into the ground. In the next instant, a vast forest of vines, each 5 or 6 meters thick, erupted from the earth. It rapidly spread in all directions, engulfing the ancient temple before them. The forest's area expanded at a visible pace, giving the impression that if its momentum wasn't halted in time, the entire Mount Fudo would be completely submerged. Just as the temple seemed on the verge of being swallowed whole, the ancient, pitch-black door screeched open slowly. A purple mist seeped out from behind it. A massive hand clad in black gloves pushed the door aside and emerged from within the temple. Its colossal form towered over the temple doors, standing over 30 meters tall. It was a headless giant specter, clad in neon-hued black and red plate armor reminiscent of the Sengoku period. Though headless, it still wore a demonic helmet, its skull-like space filled only by a cloud of pitch-black smoke, within which 2 eerie red orbs flickered. The demon god, Terra Shogun. Facing the surging, devouring forest, the shogun drew a massive sword and slashed it down with brutal force. With a single strike, the primordial forest sprouting from the sword in the tree was utterly shattered. The moment the headless ghost god appeared, his left hand drew the white eagle pistol, firing a holy silver bullet straight at Terra Shogun. Clang! Empowered by spatial energy, the holy silver bullet raced toward Terra Shogun at blinding speed. Yet the shogun's sword flashed faster, deflecting the bullet away with a single stroke. The nuclear-grade energy within the bullet detonated at a distance, unleashing a terrifying blast. Seeing this, Zhang Yi pulled the trigger again, firing 3 consecutive bullets aimed at Terra Shogun's torso. Terra Shogun, sword in both hands, suddenly crouched low and charged toward Zhang Yi at breakneck speed. He swung his sword backward to slash at the 3 incoming bullets. Yet, just as his blade was about to slash the bullets, they abruptly vanished mid-air. Reappearing, they now flew past Terra Shogun's sword, heading straight for his chest. 3 unadorned bullets struck Terra Shogun's body. The demon-devouring substance combined with nuclear power instantly produced a terrifying explosion. Even the heavily armored body of this ancient ghost god was knocked back 5 or 6 steps by the shockwave. No penetration? Interesting. Who'd have thought Mount Fudo harbors another Epsilon-level entity? But is this fellow also part of the 100 Demon Night Parade? Zhang Yi hesitated not a moment, unleashing his most potent instant cast skill. White light twisted within his eyes, warping the surrounding void into grotesque distortions. An invisible force violently twisted and compressed the entire space containing Terra Shogun into a dense mass. This was an ancient undead being, now reduced to a massive skeletal frame. The immense force twisted his body, nearly shattering it completely. Zhang Yi is no longer the defensive specialist he once was. Since reaching the Black Chariot level, his offensive capabilities have surged dramatically. Even the ancient ghost god before him struggles to withstand his devastating strikes. Upon the temple's dais, the scheming shadow's eyes flickered with astonishment. This man has reached such heights. It seems the royal demon court's intelligence was flawed. He grasped this truth instantly, though tragically, it was far too late. Bullets poured from the White Eagle in Zhang Yi's left hand like a sudden downpour, relentless and unceasing. No matter how swift Terra Shogun's sword, it could not redirect mid-swing to block bullets that had altered their trajectory. Boom! Explosions erupted continuously around him, followed by the second wave of the Divine Realm Netherworld cleansing. Clatter. His skeletal frame shattered completely, scattering in disarray across the floor. Zhang Yi dared not relax his vigilance for a moment. His experience told him such specters could revive. True to his expectations, it wasn't long before the pile of skeletal remains on the ground began to stir restlessly. Zhang Yi merely lifted his gaze, fixing it on the colossal temple ahead and the dark silhouette perched atop it. An entity capable of infinite resurrection must have a source. Is it this one? Or could it be? Zhang Yi sheathed the sword in the tree, transforming it back into a bracelet around his wrist. He then drew two white eagles. Terrifying void energy surged behind him, a massive dark vortex spiraling outward until it hung like a colossal black sun behind his back. Powerful void energy surged over his body like a black tide, channeling through his arms and converging into the dual gun. The silver-gray handguns transformed into pure black, their sinister glow instilling primal dread in anyone who met their gaze. As the accumulated void energy reached a critical point, the dual gun merged into one, unleashing a devastating strike. Halberd of Doom. Triggers pulled simultaneously, unleashing a colossal black spear from the barrels, hurtling straight toward the ancient temple ahead. This strike even caused the shadow above the temple to flicker with surprise. Humans. Have they truly evolved to this extent? Truly worthy of the sixth generation's masterpiece. Boom! In an instant, the dark void spear collided with the temple. Darkness engulfed the entire space, causing cracks to appear in this artificially created realm. The shadow's form began to grow ethereal. The time is not yet right. I cannot reveal myself. I'll let you glow for now. The shadow twisted in the void before vanishing from its original spot. The next instant, Terra Shogun's corpse and the entire ancient temple were swallowed whole by the black spear. Crack! The surrounding space shattered like a mirror, cracking with spiderweb-like fissures before exploding violently. All sight vanished. What Zhang Yi saw remained Mount Fudo standing tall before him. Meanwhile, battle erupted in every direction. Falling stars pockmarked Mount Fudo as the royal demon court's mutants charged in from all sides, roaring with fury. Behind him, the 100 Demon Knight Parade's demons and specters were firmly held at bay by Flower's massive form, barred from interfering with Zhang Yi. Though these creatures posed no real threat to Zhang Yi, they were exceedingly troublesome. Especially the three Ghost Kings. If it struck during a critical moment of Zhang Yi's duel, it could even create a crisis for him. Zhang Yi lifted his gaze toward the summit of Mount Fudo, where the Heavenly Guardian Palace stood. Long, bluestone steps wound from the base to the peak, lined with torii gates on either side. In that instant, Zhang Yi sensed a gaze filled with malevolence, fixed upon him from the mountaintop. He knew exactly who he was facing. The most powerful mutant in Neon today, the master of the royal demon court, the evil demon. You're just in time. Let me see what level the strongest mutant in Neon stands at now, after I've already taught them a lesson. The evil demon stood before the gates of the Heavenly Guardian Palace, flanked by his three top lieutenants, Purgatory Star, Narumi Shuji, and Wichiro Maeda. His eyes were fixed solely on Zhang Yi below. Though unseen, the two could already sense each other's presence. A savage grin twisted his lips as he addressed the trio. Some vermin snuck up the mountain. You lot deal with those pests. He pointed down the slope. As for their commander-in-chief, I'll handle him myself. The three responded in unison, yes. Mount Fudo was their territory. Any intruders would have been detected long ago by their scouts. The trio immediately locked onto their respective targets and led their men off to hunt. Meanwhile, the evil demon crouched slightly. In the next instant, his entire body shot forward like a bullet, hurtling down the mountain with deadly force. Target detected. Locked. The intelligence system of the submarine dragon armor alerted Zhang Yi. The aerial camera instantly zoomed in, revealing a boy so emaciated he wore no armor whatsoever. He wasn't old, yet his face twisted with a savage, unbridled madness, the sort one might only expect to see in a madhouse. A target dropped from the sky? Zhang Yi pondered briefly before drawing his oversized sniper rifle, the Thunderstrike. After Liu Karen's modifications, calling it the world's most powerful heavy sniper rifle was no exaggeration. Its destructive power was sufficient to obliterate a Tiger tank without any supernatural assistance. In Zhang Yi's hands, its might became so terrifying that even opponents of Gao Changkong and Lancelot of that level would hesitate. Zhang Yi raised the heavy sniper rifle high, aiming at the falling evil demon. Powerful void supernatural gathered in the energy storage chamber. Once the energy gauge was full, a bullet accompanied by a deafening roar shot toward the evil demon's body. In an instant, the bullet, carrying terrifying force, struck the evil demon. But the expected scene of the evil demon's body being blown apart did not materialize. Through the zoomed-in view provided by his intelligence system, Zhang Yi witnessed a shocking sight. The oversized bullet head was actually caught in the evil demon's teeth. Blue smoke billowed from his mouth. His eyes burned with madness, and the smirk on his lips seemed to mock Zhang Yi's futile attack. Zhang Yi's gaze grew grave. Even Lancelot wouldn't dare take this shot head-on. Yet the evil demon before him had managed to catch it directly with his teeth. Such terrifying defensive capability was something Zhang Yi had never witnessed in his life. An enhancement-type mutant? Zhang Yi knew very little about the evil demon, as this creature had emerged in Neon for only a short time and possessed no record of external conflicts. Of course, the evil demon knew little about Zhang Yi either. Thus, during their initial standoff, gathering intelligence on each other remained paramount. Zhang Yi didn't stop after one failed shot. He had to confirm whether the enemy's defensive capability was a one-time ability or a fundamental attribute. So Zhang Yi kept pulling the trigger, firing bullet after bullet at evil demon. Bullets powerful enough to easily destroy warships were all caught by evil demon, and without exception, using its teeth. The evil demon's body plummeted rapidly, closing the distance to Zhang Yi to just around 200 meters. An eerie crimson hue emerged across his body, as if boiled in scalding water, while searing hot air surged from his mouth. The madness in his eyes grew ever more intense. He plummeted toward Zhang Yi head first, without slowing his descent. Zhang Yi frowned, neither dodging nor evading, there was simply no need to. His most formidable defense had always been his alternate dimension space. Everything under heaven. Gate of 3,000 realms rearranged itself, forming dozens of layers of dimensional barriers before him. Should evil demon plunge into one of these gates, he would be instantly trapped. Zhang Yi was eager to see just what this creature's abilities truly were. The evil demon showed no sign of slowing. The speed of free fall was too great. The moment the doors opened, he seemed to sense what lay ahead. Yet he made no adjustment whatsoever, plummeting straight into the alternate dimension. Zhang Yi was taken aback. He instantly closed the dimensional gate, intending to trap the evil demon inside. Yet, barely 2 seconds after the gate shut, a terrifying energy erupted from its location. Its sheer power left even Zhang Yi momentarily stunned. The power of this energy is practically on par with mine. How could Neon have a supernatural being of this caliber now? Zhang Yi hadn't dismissed the possibility of Neon harboring a powerful epsilon. But according to his understanding, exhausting an entire district of Huaxu Nation could barely cultivate a supernatural being with an ability index hovering around 20,000 points. Neon possessed less than half the resources of a single major region, and the Colombian Navy was plundering its resources. A newly emerged mutant couldn't possibly be that strong. Yet, with just one strike from the evil demon, Zhang Yi realized his assumptions might be flawed. The terrifying explosion instantly obliterated one of Zhang Yi's dimensional gates. Emerging from the void, the evil demon leapt backward like a monkey. After his gaunt frame steadied on the ground, he flashed Zhang Yi a savage grin. Master of the Royal Demon Court, codename, Shuten Doji, supernatural being of the special attribute type. Ability index, unknown. Seems there's no way to take him out instantly. Zhang Yi flexed his wrists, speaking with a languid tone. As the two epsilons clashed directly, the battle surrounding Mount Fudo officially commenced. No one could intervene in the fight between Zhang Yi and the evil demon, but that didn't mean the others were mere cannon fodder. Those permitted to remain in Edo's Royal Demon Court were the elite of the elite. Their orders were clear: while the evil demon fought, they must defend the Heavenly Guardian Palace against any intruders. Deng Shintong and Liang Yu led their group toward the Heavenly Guardian Palace atop the mountain. At the edge of the frost-bound forest stood the majestic palace, towering into the sky. Yet before they reached halfway, they sensed disturbance within the forest. It was the sound of snowflakes drifting down. Liang Yu's ears twitched. Someone's coming. And there are many of them. Exactly as expected. Deng Shintong gripped his sword Griffith with his right hand, his tone calm. Zhang Yi and Flower had already dealt with their greatest trouble, the evil demon and the 100 Demon Night Parade. The path ahead, they must walk alone. Uncle Yu trudged through the thick snow. His heavy frame made progress in such terrain exceptionally difficult. Yet these past years, he had never slackened in his training, equipping him with the means to navigate such treacherous terrain. His gaze swept the surroundings. In the darkness, the faint outlines of approaching wolves became discernible. Deng Shintong smiled faintly. Since we've been discovered, there's no need to hide any longer. He raised his right hand. A cluster of supernatural energy rapidly coalesced in his palm, forming a small, luminous orb. With a gentle lift of his hand, the orb shot skyward, rapidly expanding until it hovered mid-air, transforming into a brilliant full moon. The pure moonlight illuminated Mount Fudo. Looking out, their surroundings were now densely packed with mutants from the Royal Demon Court. They wore black suits, the standard attire of the neon underworld, each face bearing undisguised murderous intent. Fatty Sue sucked in a sharp breath. At least 500 or 600 of them. And us, he counted on his fingers, barely 10 at most. Uncle Yu turned with a smile. What's the matter, Fatty Sue? Scared again? Not really. Fatty Sue shot him a sideways glance. This sort of thing. You just get used to it, right? He murmured under his breath, I need to learn how to fight too. Can't keep relying on the boss forever. Only after experiencing the pain of losing someone will a person gradually learn to grow stronger. Next time, Fatty Sue hoped he'd have the strength to protect others. Uncle Yu nodded approvingly. That's the spirit. Clang. Liang Yu's dragon's roar protruded half an inch, emitting a warning hum. She looked ahead. A formidable opponent is approaching. Not just her, Bai Li Changqing, Wu Di, and the others all stared intently toward the front. Beneath the Heavenly Guardian Palace, 2 officers of the Royal Demon Court appeared. The sword-wielding samurai in a suit, Narumi Shuji, and Wichiro Maeda, wearing gold-rimmed glasses with neatly combed bangs. What a nuisance. Wichiro Maeda frowned, his gaze fixed on Deng Shintong and the others. We finally had a few quiet days, and now we're back to fighting. Narumi Shuji spoke lazily, peace must be guarded with the sword. So, let's fight. Narumi Shuji swung his hand forcefully around him, slaughter. The mutants of the Royal Demon Court wasted no words. Instantly, many drew machine guns from their robes and opened fire on Deng Shintong and his group. Huaxiu Kingdom possessed specialized ammunition like origin bullets and holy silver bullets to counter supernatural beings, along with custom-made weapons. Naturally, such resources were not scarce abroad either. When it came to killing their own kind, humanity's progress was always astonishingly swift. Let the battle commence. Bai Chunyu pressed his palms together, his supernatural energy surging rapidly as his disheveled hair danced wildly. Fatty Su also unleashed his ability, Blizzard, without hesitation. The battle plan had been set from the very beginning. In the next instant, a colossal storm erupted around them, sweeping toward the surroundings with raging blizzards. In the frozen world, ice elemental mutants are the favored children of heaven. For wherever they go, the terrain readily allows them to unleash their powers. A raging storm swept through the surrounding area, instantly disrupting the formation of the Royal Demon Court's mutants. To catch the thief, first catch the king. Blue aura mist began swirling around Lian Yu. Now approaching the Epsilon realm, her power grew ever more formidable. In an instant, she soared upward, charging straight for Narumi Shuji and Wachiro Maeda. Leave one opponent for me. Deng Shintong was equally determined not to be outdone. As the two most formidable combatants in their respective teams, it made perfect sense for them to confront the enemy's two commanders. Almost instinctively, Lian Yu chose her target, the swordsman Narumi Shuji, wielding his katana. Top martial artists always drew each other in. That fanatical devotion to the martial way could be understood with just a single glance. The moment their gazes locked, a flicker of astonishment crossed Narumi Shuji's eyes before they flooded with wild delight. Such a being actually exists in this world? A faint smile touched Lian Yu's lips. Her right hand pressed against the hilt of Dragon Roar as she drew the blade. Before the sword fully emerged, Narumi Shuji retreated backward. He murmured, "Infinite Sword Domain." The next instant, the surrounding scene transformed in an instant. It was no longer the snow-covered Mount Fudo, but a desolate, ruined ancient battlefield. A colossal crimson moon hung in the sky, bathing the entire battlefield in a chaotic, blood-red glow. Countless swords and blades were embedded in the ground, some stained with blood, others long broken, some gleaming brightly, awaiting the return of their masters. Lian Yu frowned and looked ahead. There, atop a hill, stood Narumi Shuji. His sword was drawn, pointing diagonally toward the ground. Welcome to my domain. Once the Infinite Sword Domain is activated, leaving requires fulfilling one condition. His sword pointed at Lian Yu. One person must die. Isn't that splendid? No one will ever disturb a samurai's honorable duel. A cold smile spread across Lian Yu's face. It suits me perfectly. Blue spiritual energy flowed from every limb, forming a smoke aura around her. But to Narumi Shuji's eyes, it was an extremely dangerous phenomenon. Interesting, truly fascinating. This is my first time facing a warrior from Huaxiu. Captain of the 1st Division of the Royal Demon Court, Narumi Shuji, codename Ibaraki Duji, an enhancement-type ability user. Ability Index, 9,900 points. No sooner had the words left his mouth than he charged toward Lian Yu like a bolt of lightning. His swift form stirred a biting gale, and within his sword domain, swords rose with the wind, carried by the tempest to pierce Lian Yu. Lian Yu's expression remained impassive as she swung her sword forward to slash toward the onslaught. A storm of swords swept toward her, its eye revealing Narumi Shuji's famed sword, Kiku Ikemanji Zetsubu. Countless blades swirled around the Ikemanji. Lian Yu wielded only one sword, yet her strikes were so swift they seemed like flickering light. Clang! 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 Swords clashed madly. With her first strike, Lian Yu slashed through countless blades. Yet Narumi Shuji's sword was equally swift. After becoming a mutant, warriors always prioritized enhancing their physical prowess. This allowed them to draw their blades at lightning speed. In a sense, they were the most dangerous beings. Because if these guys got close enough, they could instantly kill beings with far higher ability indices than themselves. Thrusts, body strikes, diagonal slashes, Narumi Shuji's blade momentum was blindingly fast. Once his twin blades locked onto her, his assault never faltered. Liang Yu's dragon's roar was a tang-straight sword, its heavy blade giving her an advantage in the clash. Against Narumi Shuji, Liang Yu's offensive pace wasn't as rapid, yet her defense remained impenetrable. No matter how swiftly Narumi Shuji struck, she deflected each blow in time, countering with a strike that sent shivers down his spine. The sheer pressure of a straight blade surpassed that of a sword. Speed alone was useless, what mattered was delivering a fatal blow. In terms of raw power, Narumi Shuji clearly couldn't match Liang Yu's brute strength. Blade clashed against blade, each strike carrying deadly peril. Liang Yu gradually adapted to Narumi Shuji's rapid attacks, beginning to counter and exert pressure. Clang! Narumi Shuji spun to evade Liang Yu's long sword strike, the battlefield behind him instantly cleaved open by a trench stretching thousands of meters. He swiftly sheathed his sword, gathered power, and crouched low. Flash! The blade became a blinding streak of light, streaking straight for Liang Yu's throat. This strike was faster than any before. Liang Yu's sword momentum had peaked, it was too late to block. She could only arch her back, bending into an iron bridge posture to dodge the blow. Shoo! Several strands of hair were slashed by the blade. Liang Yu flipped upright, swinging her sword down with all her might. Having already experienced Liang Yu's power, Narumi Shuji dared not meet this blow head-on. He spun mid-air to evade it as well. The instant he landed, his left hand drew a sword from the ground. Liang Yu gripped her handheld dragon roar, poised and ready.